Welcome to a deep dive that might just turn your world upside down.
Yeah.
We're tackling the mind-bending ideas of Neville Goddard,
Oh,
a
yeah.
20th century thinker who believed your imagination
Yeah.
isn't just for daydreaming. It's the most powerful force you possess.
It's fascinating how Goddard took what we think of as imagination and elevated it to something
Right.
deeply spiritual and creative.
Uh-huh.
He even saw it as the divine spark within each of us.
We've got a stack of material here, study guides on his work,
Wow.
excerpts from his book, Awakened Imagination,
Okay.
and even a FAQ doc.
Interesting.
But this isn't your typical biographical deep dive.
Right.
We're after the core of Goddard's thinking, what made him tick, and how his ideas can spark your own exploration.
And that exploration starts with rethinking the word imagination itself.
Okay.
Goddard was frustrated with how watered down it had become,
I see.
often associated with mere fantasy. He wanted to reclaim its true potential.
It's like he felt we were using this incredible tool to build sandcastles when it could be constructing skyscrapers.
Exactly. Goddard was adamant that imagination is the key to changing your reality.
Wow.
He even called it the doorway to reality.
So instead of just passively observing our lives,
Right.
we become active participants in shaping them through our imagination.
That's the crux of it.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the power of imagination to shape not just our inner world, but our experiences in the outer world as well.
One of Goddard's most well-known concepts is thinking from the end.
Yeah.
What exactly did he mean by that?
Instead of just thinking about what you want,
Okay.
he urged people to think from the state of already having achieved it.
I see.
He even had a personal story about this.
Ah, yes, the Barbados story.
Yeah.
Tell me, was he daydreaming about a tropical getaway when this thinking from the end idea struck him?
He actually wanted to go to Barbados but couldn't afford it.
Right.
Yet he vividly imagined himself being there, even falling asleep in that state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Then, unexpectedly, his brother sent him a ticket.
That's a pretty convincing example.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if he somehow set those events in motion just by the way he was thinking.
That's precisely what Goddard believed.
Wow.
Thinking from the end isn't about wishful thinking.
Right.
It's about aligning yourself with the reality you want to experience.
So it's like you're stepping into the role of the person who already has what you desire,
Yeah.
feeling the emotion,
Yes.
and embodying the state of mind associated with that achievement.
You've got it.
Oh.
And it's this shift in consciousness, this
Yeah.
internal alignment that Goddard believed was crucial for bringing about external changes.
This all sounds very empowering,
Yeah.
but also a little hard to grasp.
Sure.
Do you have any tips for actually putting thinking from the end into practice?
Certainly.
Okay.
Let's try a quick exercise.
Right.
Close your eyes for a moment
Okay.
and imagine something you truly desire. Now, instead of just picturing it, step into that picture.
Right.
What does it feel like to have already achieved this goal?
Mm.
What emotions are you experiencing?
Okay, I'm trying it.
Uh-huh.
It's like I'm stepping into a different version of myself, someone who's already living that reality.
Right.
It's quite a shift in perspective.
Exactly. It's about feeling the reality of the wish fulfilled,
Wow.
not just thinking about it abstractly.
Right.
And with consistent practice,
Yeah.
this mental shift can have a profound impact on your outer world.
Now, Goddard also talked about revision.
Yeah,
Was this like thinking from the end, but for the past?
that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Goddard believed you could use imagination to rewrite past events and their emotional impact. It's like using your mind to heal old wounds and shape your future.
It's a fascinating concept.
Yeah?
Almost like we're editing the film of our lives
Yeah.
to create a more empowering narrative.
Precise. And Goddard had some pretty compelling stories about people who used revision to change their lives.
Mm.
For example, there was an artist who used it to heal a foot injury.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
Did she stub her toe while painting a particularly challenging masterpiece?
Well, what
What is-
happened? Before the injury,
Right.
she'd had a harsh encounter with someone.
I see.
Later, she realized her judgmental attitude
Uh-huh.
and relived the encounter in her imagination.
Right.
This time, though,
Yeah.
she responded with understanding and compassion.
Wow. So she basically went back and re-edited the emotional tone of the memory.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the most astonishing part, her foot, which had been injured, healed overnight.
Now that makes you wonder if the act of revision itself triggered some kind of physical healing response,
Right.
or if it was more about a shift in her mental state.
It's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
Goddard believed that by changing our emotional relationship to the past,
Okay.
we can influence the present and even the future.
So it's not about denying what happened,
Right.
but about changing how we relate to it,
Exactly.
releasing any negative emotions that might be lingering.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Wow.
It's about consciously shaping the narrative of our lives,
Right.
both past and present,
Okay.
to create a more empowering future.
This idea of the mind influencing reality feels like we're stepping into some pretty deep waters here.
Indeed.
Wow.
And we're just scratching the surface.
Okay.
Goddard also emphasized the power of our inner speech. Those silent conversations we have with ourselves all the time.
Right.
He believed they have a profound impact on our reality.
So those little voices in our heads are shaping our lives more than we realize.
Yeah,
That's a sobering thought.
it is.
Wow.
If you're constantly putting yourself down or worrying about the future,
Yeah.
you're actually creating that reality. Goddard believed that aligning your inner speech with your desired outcomes is crucial.
So instead of saying,
Yeah.
I'm never going to get that promotion,
Right.
you might shift to, I'm confident and capable, and I'm ready for this next step in my career.
That's a great example.
Okay.
It's about becoming aware of your internal dialogue and consciously choosing thoughts and words that empower you and align with your goals.
It sounds like we need to be a lot more mindful of what we're telling ourselves.
Yes.
Both consciously and subconsciously.
Absolutely. Goddard believed that our inner speech is constantly shaping the world around us, whether we're aware of it or not.
So by becoming more aware of our inner dialogue
Yeah.
and consciously choosing empowering thoughts and words,
Right.
we can start to shift our reality in a more positive direction.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that we are not just passive recipients of thoughts,
Okay.
but active creators of them.
Uh-huh.
And through our thoughts, we shape our reality.
This brings to mind another fascinating concept that Goddard explored: states of consciousness.
Right.
Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Certainly. Goddard believed our states of consciousness determine what we experience in the world.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay.
A wealthy person, a thief, a loving person,
Right.
they all see the world through different lenses.
Yeah.
And that difference in perception shapes their reality.
It's like we're wearing different sets of glasses that filter our experience of the world.
Exactly.
Wow.
And by changing our state of consciousness through techniques like thinking from the end and revision,
Okay.
we can change our reality.
This all seems to tie back to thinking from the end.
Uh-huh.
If we can embody the state of consciousness of the person we want to become,
Yeah.
we begin to attract those experiences into our lives.
You've got it. It's about aligning our inner world with the outer reality we desire.
Goddard also had some interesting things to say about forgiveness.
Right.
It wasn't just about condoning wrong actions, was it?
You're right.
Okay.
Goddard went beyond conventional morality.
Hmm.
He said, true forgiveness isn't about condoning wrong actions. It's about seeing ourselves and others in terms of our highest potential.
Okay.
It's a way to release limiting beliefs and expand our consciousness.
So instead of dwelling on someone's flaws,
Yeah.
we should focus on the best version of who they could be.
Right.
That's a powerful shift in perspective.
It is.
Right.
It's not about being naive or ignoring negative behavior,
Right.
but choosing to see the potential for good in everyone,
Okay.
including ourselves.
This reminds me of something else that Goddard talked about: the advent of Christ.
Yes.
He didn't mean the historical event, did he?
Not exactly.
Right.
For Goddard, the advent of Christ represented an inner awakening to the power of imagination.
Yeah.
It's about realizing that the creative force of the universe resides within each of us.
It's almost like becoming aware of your own divinity,
Yeah,
of the unlimited potential within you.
that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
This awakening might sound like a mystical experience, but Goddard believed it was accessible to everyone through the conscious use of imagination.
This is all incredibly thought-provoking, and we've barely scratched the surface.
Right.
I'm eager to dive deeper into Goddard's ideas.
Okay.
What else do we have in store?
Well, let's see.
Okay, I'm still processing the idea that this advent of Christ could be an everyday experience for anyone. It's a lot to take in, but there's one concept that really piqued my curiosity. The idea that creation is already finished. What did Goddard mean by that?
He drew inspiration from the poet William Blake,
Okay.
who envisioned all possibilities existing as sculptures in the halls of lost time. Goddard believed that every potential reality, every dream, every invention, it's already out there, waiting to be discovered.
So our job is to find and activate these pre-existing sculptures to bring them into our reality.
Yeah, you could say that.
It sounds like a treasure hunt through the universe of possibilities.
And the map to those treasures.
Yeah.
Our imagination, of course. By entering into the state of consciousness that resonates with our desire, we align ourselves with that specific reality and draw it into our experience.
That reminds me of thinking from the end. It's not enough to just think about what we want.
Right.
We have to truly inhabit the reality of having it.
Yeah.
Feeling those emotions and embodying that state of being.
That's a great connection.
Okay.
Thinking from the end is one of the keys to unlocking those sculptures in the halls of lost time.
But how do we know which sculpture to choose with all those possibilities swirling around?
Yeah.
How do we avoid getting lost in a world of fantasy?
Goddard stressed the importance of self-awareness.
Okay.
He believed we need to become acutely aware of our habitual thought patterns and inner conversations because they're like a compass pointing to the state we're currently in.
So if we're constantly worrying about money, it might indicate that we're resonating with a state of lack, even if we yearn for abundance.
Precisely. And if we truly want to experience abundance, we need to shift our inner world to match that reality.
I see.
Goddard's techniques like revision and consciously controlling our inner speech can help us make that shift.
It's almost like we're tuning our inner radio dial to a different frequency.
Yeah.
One that's broadcasting the reality we want to experience.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
But what about external circumstances?
Yeah.
Surely we can't just imagine our way out of every problem, can we?
There are things we can't control.
Right.
Like unexpected events or the actions of others. How does Goddard's philosophy address those situations?
Goddard acknowledged the reality of the outer world, but saw it as a reflection of our inner state. He believed that by changing our consciousness, we inevitably change our circumstances.
So it's not about denying the challenges of the physical world.
Right.
But about recognizing that our perception and response to those challenges play a huge role in shaping our experience.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility for our inner world, recognizing that our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are constantly influencing our reality.
It's a powerful and maybe a little daunting thought.
Yeah.
If we have the power to create, we also have the responsibility for what we create.
That's a key insight.
Wow.
Goddard's philosophy is not for the faint of heart.
Right.
It requires a radical level of self-awareness and personal responsibility.
Okay.
But it also offers immense freedom and empowerment.
It's like realizing you're not just a passenger on the bus of life.
Right.
You're actually the driver.
Yeah.
But what about those times when the road gets bumpy?
Okay.
When we face unexpected detours or even accidents?
Goddard believed that even in those challenging situations, we always have a choice. We can choose to react with fear and negativity, which often amplifies the problem.
Right.
Or we can choose to respond with courage, creativity, and a belief in our ability to navigate the situation.
So it's not about pretending everything is perfect or denying the reality of pain or hardship.
Yeah.
It's about choosing how we respond to those challenges.
Exactly.
Using our imagination to create a more empowering narrative, even in the midst of difficulty.
You've got it.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that our inner world is the most powerful tool we have for navigating the ups and downs of life.
And remember, forgiveness is a key part of this process.
Absolutely.
It's about letting go of blame, resentment, and guilt.
Right.
Freeing ourselves to move forward with clarity and purpose.
Yes. Forgiveness is essential. It's about releasing the energetic weight of the past and embracing the potential of the present moment.
We've talked a lot about aligning our inner world with our desired reality.
Right.
But Goddard also made a pretty bold statement. Imagination is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure I fully grasp what he meant by that. Was he suggesting we all have the power to perform miracles?
That's the essence of it. Goddard saw imagination as the divine spark within each of us, the force that makes all things possible.
So it's not about religious dogma or worshiping a historical figure.
Right.
It's about recognizing the inherent power of consciousness to create reality.
Precisely.
Okay.
Goddard believed that this power is available to everyone,
Right.
not just a select few.
We can think of Jesus Christ as a metaphor for the boundless creative power of imagination.
Yeah.
The force that allows us to forgive, to heal,
Yeah.
and to achieve our goals.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
And just like the biblical Jesus, our imagination can be crucified by doubt, fear, and negative thinking.
Right.
Or it can be resurrected through faith, love, and the conscious use of our creative power.
That death and resurrection theme seems to be a recurring motif in Goddard's work.
It is.
It's about transformation, isn't it?
Yeah. He saw it as a metaphor for the process of transforming consciousness.
Right.
We have to let go of old beliefs and limitations in order to embrace a new reality.
It suggests that personal growth is a continuous cycle of death and rebirth.
Yeah.
A shedding of old patterns and an emergence into a more expansive way of being.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it's not a passive process.
Right.
We have to actively participate in this transformation by choosing to let go of what no longer serves us and embrace a more expansive view of ourselves and the world.
So how do we actually put these ideas into practice? Goddard talked a lot about the art of revision.
Right.
Could you walk us through that a bit?
Of course.
Okay.
Goddard saw revision as a form of mental time travel.
Okay.
We revisit past events in our imagination, but rewrite the script to create a more desirable outcome.
It's like editing a movie to change the ending.
Yeah.
But how can changing something in the past possibly affect the present?
Goddard believed time isn't linear, but fluid. He argued that by changing our memory of an event, we change its emotional charge and its influence on our present reality.
So it's not about denying what happened,
Yes.
but about changing how we relate to it.
Exactly.
Releasing any lingering negative emotions.
Just like taking back the power that those past events might still hold over us.
And the amazing thing is, Goddard claimed that revision could even change the course of events in the outer world.
Right.
He had stories about people using it to heal relationships, attract opportunities, even reverse physical ailments.
Right.
Do you have any examples?
There's the story of a woman who was struggling financially.
Okay.
She would constantly replay past experiences of scarcity in her mind. Goddard encouraged her to revise those memories, imagining herself receiving unexpected checks, feeling a sense of abundance and gratitude.
And did it work?
Well,
did her financial situation actually change?
According to Goddard, she started receiving gifts, opportunities, and even financial windfalls she hadn't anticipated.
That's incredible.
It is.
It suggests that our minds have a much greater influence on reality than we typically realize.
That's the core of Goddard's message.
Wow.
He was urging us to awaken to the power of our imagination and use it consciously to create the lives we want to live.
But wouldn't that be incredibly difficult?
It can be.
Our minds are so full of chatter and distractions.
Yeah.
How can we possibly maintain that level of focus and control over our thoughts?
Goddard acknowledged the challenge, but insisted that with practice and persistence, we can train our minds to be more disciplined and focused. He suggested techniques like meditation, visualization, and affirmations to strengthen our imaginative powers.
It's like building a mental muscle.
Yeah.
The more we exercise it, the stronger it becomes.
Exactly. And as our imagination becomes more disciplined, we gain greater control over our reality. Goddard believed that this is the path to true freedom and fulfillment.
It's an inspiring vision.
It is.
But it also feels a little overwhelming.
Sure.
Where do we even begin?
Goddard emphasized starting small.
Okay.
Focusing on one specific desire or goal.
Right.
He suggested creating a vivid mental picture of the desired outcome and then living in that reality in your imagination as if it were already happening.
So it's about going beyond simple visualization.
Right.
It's about feeling the emotions, sensing the detail, and truly experiencing the reality of the wish fulfilled.
Precisely.
Wow.
And this is where Goddard's concept of feeling is the secret comes in.
Okay.
He believed that emotion is the key to activating the creative power of imagination.
So we need to engage not just our minds, but our hearts as well.
Yeah.
We have to feel the joy, the gratitude, the love that we would experience if our desire were already fulfilled.
That's the essence of it. It's about aligning our entire being. Okay.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
With the reality we want to create.
This feeling is the secret idea is really intriguing.
It is.
Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
Yeah.
What did Goddard mean by that?
He believed that our feelings are the language of the subconscious mind.
Okay.
The part of ourselves that's connected to the creative power of the universe.
Wow.
By cultivating the right feelings, we send a clear signal to the subconscious to bring our desires into manifestation.
So it's not enough to just think about what we want.
Right.
We have to feel it as if it were already ours.
Exactly.
Okay.
Goddard often said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Right.
He believed that this was the key to unlocking the creative power within us.
But what if our current feelings are in direct conflict with our desires? What if we're feeling anxious or fearful about the very thing we want to create?
That's where Goddard's technique of revision comes in again?
We can use it to release negative emotions and cultivate feelings that are aligned with our desires.
So we can actually go back and rewrite our emotional responses to past events.
Yeah.
Thereby changing our present feelings and shaping our future experiences.
That's the power of revision.
Wow.
It's a way to reprogram our subconscious mind and create a new emotional blueprint for ourselves.
This all sounds incredibly transformative.
It is?
But I have to admit, it also sounds a little mystical and maybe even a little too good to be true.
Yeah.
Is there any scientific evidence to support these ideas?
Well, Goddard's work is primarily philosophical and spiritual.
Right.
There is a growing body of scientific research that is starting to validate some of his key concepts.
Interesting.
For example, studies in the field of neuroplasticity have shown that our brains are incredibly adaptable and that we can rewire our neural pathways through conscious effort and practice.
So what we're essentially doing with techniques like visualization and revision is retraining our brains to create new patterns of thought and behavior.
Exactly. And this can have a profound impact on our emotional well-being and our ability to manifest our desires.
Okay.
Additionally, research in the field of quantum physics has revealed that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping reality.
This is where things get really mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is.
Are you saying that our thoughts can actually influence the physical world around us?
That's what quantum physics suggests. It challenges the traditional Newtonian view of a fixed and objective universe, proposing instead that consciousness is an active participant in creating reality.
That aligns perfectly with Goddard's core message that our imagination is the creative force of the universe.
It does.
Okay.
And while we're just beginning to understand the profound implications of these discoveries, they offer a compelling scientific framework for exploring the power of consciousness to shape our lives.
So we're not just talking about wishful thinking here.
Right.
There's a real science behind these ideas.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Goddard's work is both philosophical and practical. He provides a set of tools and techniques that anyone can use to tap into their own creative power and create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
It's an empowering message that resonates deeply with our desire to live our best lives.
Yeah.
It raises a lot of questions, though.
Sure.
How do we reconcile these ideas with the challenges and limitations of everyday life?
That's a great question.
Okay.
And it's one that we'll continue to explore as we delve deeper into Goddard's work and its practical application in our lives.
It's incredible to think that even with all the advances in science and technology, we're still just scratching the surface of what our minds are capable of. We've covered so much ground already, thinking from the end, revision, inner speech, states of consciousness.
Yeah.
Even the idea that creation itself is already finished.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
It's almost like a crash course in reality creation, wouldn't you say?
It is. And what's truly remarkable about Goddard's work is that he doesn't just present these ideas as abstract theories.
Right.
He provides practical tools and techniques that anyone can use to start experimenting with these concepts in their own lives.
That's what I find so exciting about his work. It's not just about passively believing in a certain philosophy.
Right.
It's about taking action, putting those beliefs into practice, and seeing what happens.
Exactly. He empowers us to become active participants in shaping our reality, rather than just passive observers.
But this whole idea of personal responsibility can feel a bit heavy at times.
Yeah, I can see that.
If everything is truly a reflection of our inner state, does that mean we're to blame for everything that happens to us?
That's a common misconception about Goddard's work. It's not about blame or guilt.
Okay.
It's about empowerment. Once you realize that you have the power to shape your reality, you're no longer a victim of circumstance. You become an active creator of your life.
That makes sense. It's not about denying the reality of challenges or hardships, but about recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond to them.
Exactly. And that choice is often reflected in our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions.
But what about things that are clearly outside our control, like illness, accidents, or the actions of others?
Goddard acknowledged that there are events and circumstances beyond our individual control.
Right.
But he also believed that our attitude and response to those events are always within our power.
So even in the midst of difficult circumstances, we can choose to focus on what we can control, our inner state, our thoughts, our beliefs, and use those tools to navigate the situation in a more empowering way.
Precisely. It's about finding that inner strength and resilience.
Wow.
Even when life throws us curveballs.
And remember, for Goddard, forgiveness was a key part of this process.
It was.
It's about releasing any resentment, blame, or guilt that might be holding us back from experiencing our full potential.
Yes, forgiveness is essential. It's about recognizing that we're all on a journey of growth and transformation.
Right.
And that includes making mistakes and learning from them.
It's about seeing ourselves and others with compassion and understanding. Recognizing that we're all doing the best we can with the awareness we have at any given moment.
Beautifully said. It's about embracing a more expansive view of ourselves and the world.
Right.
One that allows for growth, change, and the possibility of creating a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Speaking of creating a more meaningful life, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this sculptures in the halls of lost time idea. If all possibilities truly exist, what are some things our listeners might consider bringing to life through their imagination?
That's a wonderful question. I think it's a deeply personal exploration. What are those hidden dreams or aspirations that you might have pushed aside? What experiences, relationships, or accomplishments are calling to you from those halls of lost time?
What a powerful image.
Yeah.
It's like we each have a treasure chest filled with unrealized potential.
Right.
And the key to unlocking it is our imagination.
Exactly. So I encourage our listeners to take some time for quiet reflection. What are you truly passionate about? What brings you joy and makes you feel alive? Those are often clues to the sculptures that are waiting to be discovered and brought into your reality.
And remember, it's not just about grand aspirations or far-off dreams. It can also be about those smaller, everyday moments of joy and fulfillment.
You're absolutely right. It's about cultivating a mindset of possibility, recognizing that we have the power to shape our experience in every moment, whether it's creating a delicious meal, having a meaningful conversation, or simply appreciating the beauty of a sunrise.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of Neville Goddard, I want to leave our listeners with this final thought. You are not just a passive observer of reality. You are an active creator.
Use your imagination wisely. Cultivate the feelings of your wish fulfilled, and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes.
And if you're ready to take the next step on your own reality creation journey, we encourage you to explore Goddard's work further. His books and lectures are filled with insights and techniques that can help you tap into your full potential. Until next time, keep imagining, keep creating, and keep believing in the power within you.